So great to see you again, Glenn. Every now and then we are able to touch base.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk story with you, Lila.
So please tell us a little bit what's going on with the stadium. You know, this program is about collegiate sports, but the stadium is even more than sports.
The stadium is 46 years old. She served us well for that time period. We had baseball there, we had concerts there, we had football there, we had mud bogs there, we had a variety of political events there. I think there was fighting that took place there. At this point, she's rusted and she's dilapidated and she's really been neglected. And for the past 3 years, legislatively, we've really poured no money into fixing her. And we're at the point where she's just really not safe for spectators. And that's why you may have heard about how there are going to be no more spectator events in the current Aloha Stadium. But the stadium itself has so many possibilities in the future. So the plan right now is tear her down and put something even more magnificent in her place, one that can really attract more than just football, but can embrace rugby and soccer. And the stadium itself is going to be the crown jewel of 98 acres. What's going around the stadium is perhaps even more exciting, which is going to be mixed use. People can live there, we can have hotels there, people can shop there, eat dinner there, go to a theater. I mean, you name it, everything is on the plate, but we really want to create a vibrant, dynamic entertainment district in that area of Halawa.
Can you give us a little bit of background on how 2019, which I believe you said was a stellar year for the stadium, how the stadium survived 2020 and where we are now and where we're going?
2019 was the best year for Aloha Stadium financially. You may recall, in addition to the UH football, the Dallas Cowboys playing the Los Angeles Rams. We had 3 Bruno Mars concerts that fiscal year. There was Guns N' Roses, there was Marshmello, there were all of these cool folks that I'm too old to remember who they are, but they were exciting and drew in big crowds to the stadium. So the stadium actually had a $1.5 million surplus in 2019. And then COVID came, and as I mentioned, due to deterioration and the inability for the stadium to hold any fans, we are where we are today, where the stadium is closed for spectator sports, but the parking lot is still being utilized. We still have the swap meet, which is actually the stadium's #1 lessee, contributing more than 50% of the revenues for the $8 million budget that they have. Drive-through Christmas shows, Halloween events. There was a recent laser show there. They're contemplating still having the 50th State Fair there this summer. We had racing this past weekend. So the parking lot itself is bringing in revenues, but nowhere near what spectator events would have been able to bring in.
So how is the stadium in the future? And how many years are we looking technically toward?
Well, if we get the green light on a legislative bill this session, we hope to have what's called an RFP, request for proposal, out this summer, announce one of the contractor that will be the lucky recipient of building out the stadium. And keep in mind, there's 2 RFPs, one for the stadium itself and one for the 98 acres around it. So we're going to have those 2 going consecutively. But to answer your question specifically about the stadium, we hope that we would have a contractor named by early next year. By this time next year, we'll have dirt moving, and by the 2024 football season, we'll have a brand new stadium for all of us to enjoy.
So how does that work through with the University of Hawaii's plans for their football team on campus?
Yeah, unfortunately, they were probably the biggest lessee that was hurt by all of these renovations. So now they're looking at moving their games and expanding their 3,000-seat Ching Field into a 10,000-seat home facility. That's going to come at a cost of north of $8 million for them. So it's really unfortunate, but keep in mind, this is a temporary move for the University of Hawaii. In the best of worlds, we would have had this kind of jointly planned out where we bring down the stadium, UH is able to move straight into the new stadium, but we just weren't able to get that all properly aligned.
Seeing as this program is about collegiate sports or collegiate activities, in the future, what, besides the concerts and the mud balls and all that, what relationship do you think the stadium could have with our various universities?
The university is our most important and most high-profile tenant, right? They were there from day one. They were the tenant for 46 years. The swap meet came along much later on, but the stadium was built for UH football, was built for back then the Hawaii Islanders. We know that the University of Hawaii is an important tenant there, but I know that there are other sports that could be utilizing the facility as well. Soccer in particular. We really don't have much of a rugby venue in Hawaii, but the stadium will be built out for us to grow our rugby profile. I mean, the Pacific rugby is huge. With Japan now getting into that kind of top tier of rugby, it's going to only grow in interest. So the facility in the future will fully embrace collegiate sports, plus add a couple of more sports that can play there in Halawa.
Might be good for Chaminade or BYU or HPU as well, because we have more than one university campus.
Right. I think BYU no longer does athletics, but certainly Chaminade and HPU can utilize that facility because I know they have soccer teams on their athletic program.
And softball.
But that place cannot do softball. Baseball and softball is a completely different configuration than football, soccer, and rugby.
What can you share with the audience in terms of inspiration, enthusiasm regarding developing our local activities?
I'm a big fan of merging sports and entertainment with economic development because all of the things that we enjoy, it unfortunately costs money. The stadium doesn't light up by itself. It doesn't stay standing by itself. It needs resources. And here's an opportunity on 98 acres to bring in a substantial amount of revenue. In Hawaii, we have beautiful areas, but we really, in my opinion, don't fully monetize our prime urban lands. And here's an opportunity with the rail stop in the future to bring people there. We have 1.8 million visitors at the Arizona Memorial that need something to do after they see the memorial. And we have a ready-made audience there. And also there's going to be an opportunity for people to live there. So you can just go down the elevator and go watch a UH football game and go get a bite to eat there. So the stadium that we have there right now, which is a facility sitting in a vast ocean of a parking lot, take that out of your mind. That is not the future. The future is something that's going to be vibrant, dynamic, and super exciting for the people of this state.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that vision. 50 years ago, when the stadium served its purpose, is a long time ago. So we are evolving.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity, Lila.
We've just spoken with Glenn Wakai, Hawaiʻi State Senator for the 15th District.